Foons, Jake here. It's September 13th, Friday the 13th, so hope you're having a good day. Nothing bad's happening to you. So, on Fridays, we want to talk about fantasy, whether it be our fantasy team, fantasy advice for you guys. So, I'll give you the breakdown of what I have. I'll explain to you what my league is about and go from there. So, if you have any questions or you don't know what you should do, or you think we're totally bluffing here and we should switch our team up to get better points, maybe you know something that we don't, so we'd like to hear it. Comment below and shoot us your opinion, your advice, and whatever. So I'll get right into it. My league's a 13 team league and $30 each with a bunch of my coworkers. So being in a work environment and playing fantasy football with them is pretty exciting. I mean, you got people bragging about their good weeks. You got people like, you're giving them crap for a shitty week. So I was on the receiving end of the shit this week. I didn't do so hot. I took the L. Team I was playing against had Tom Brady and Matt Ryan and Le'Veon Bell, and they did pretty good for the most part. So I really didn't have a good week. So I'll give you what I'm doing this week. Hopefully I switch things up and get a W. I'm projected 157 points, and my opponent's projected 159, so it's going to be tight. So my advice, if you're playing fantasy football, don't make your decisions solely based on the predictions. I feel like that's a big mistake. You got to kind of do a little research on it. You got to understand the team they're playing, the system, how it may, interfere with their offensive system for a chance. So, like I was put in the situation this week. I started Philip Lindsay, running back for Denver, last week, and I had LeSean McCoy on my bench. I didn't know if he would get a bigger role, being in Kansas City or whatnot, and it looks to be the more time he's in Kansas City, the more reps he's going to take, and it's looking good for me so far. It was a little gamble getting him. I got him real late, so I think it was worth it at the end, and I'm starting this week in my team because Philip Lindsay, he's playing Chicago. Like I'm saying, you got to do your research. You got to see who they're playing. You can't just put them in the predictions, even though Philip Lindsay is projected more points than LeSean McCoy this week. But I know Chicago's defense is pretty tough. The chances of LeSean McCoy playing Oakland, him having a better week than Philip Lindsay, I'll take it regardless of predictions. So I got Drew Brees as my starting quarterback. He's playing the Rams. Pretty good game. I only have two quarterbacks, and I get to start them in this league, so that's a good thing. So Drew Brees is my number one quarterback. I got LeSean McCoy as my running back for this week, playing Oakland. For my running back wide receiver, I'm playing a receiver, and that's going to be Cooper Kupp from the Rams. He's playing New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans is pretty tough too, but so are the Rams, and I'm hoping for the big Sunday night game with everybody's eyes on that game. I'm hoping that he's going to perform well, as long as Drew Brees and the rest of the people I got. So my first wide receiver, my first round pick, I was picking 12 out of 13 and snaked around. So I picked up Julio Jones, and he's starting for me. He's got a pretty tough game in Philly. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. My second receiver that I'm playing this week is Juju Smith-Schuster. He was my second round pick as a snake snuck around. So I got two wide receivers right off the bat, which was really good. And then I went to Drew Brees as my quarterback, and then Melvin Gordon was still on the board, and the running backs are pretty much starting to dwindle down. And like I said, I was 12 out of 13, so I had to wait for it to come back around again. And by that time, you got the Saquon Barkley, McCaffrey's, Alvin Kamara, all of them are off the board, like the big PowerPoint guys. So I decided to take a gamble and got Melvin Gordon. I know he doesn't have a contract yet, but I felt like if I got them two good receivers, and I got Drew Brees, and I also had Thielen on my team too. So yeah, I picked Melvin Gordon round 5, taking a gamble on him. Still got any running backs. I was hoping that he'd get a contract before week 1, but that never happened. So I'm hoping he can come to terms and agreement with the Chargers and hopefully get him signed, because I know this backup that the Chargers have, he's pretty decent. He's getting the job done, but not getting the job done to Melvin Gordon's standards. I feel like he'd really take him in the right direction to see where they want to go. Maybe playoffs, a wild card this year with him playing. But hopefully they come to agreement soon so I can get that pick and use them. But so I got Juju Smith and Julio Jones, my receivers. Pittsburgh plays Seattle, so I think Juju he had an average week 1, but I think he's really gonna come out in Seattle's game and do something like we used to see him from him. Getting a lot more touches. I think he only got like 10 catches or something, which is still pretty good, but he only had like 64 yards or something like that. So I'm hoping he has a big week. I can play another receiver here, so I'm playing 4 receivers this week. I got Cole Beasley. My team is very heavy on receivers, which I guess is a plus, but could be a negative. Last week was a negative for me. So I'm starting Cole Beasley this week. I didn't start in week 1. I think he's going to have like a bigger role in this game, seeing that, we need to do these short little passes to gain some yards. It's not much about, the deep pass anymore. And I haven't seen much runs, so I'm hoping maybe they're going to incorporate the runs a little more, but maybe they'll set up these little short passes so we can get some big yardage out of him later in the game, set something up. So I'm starting him. My tight end, I'm starting Delanie Walker. I didn't start him last week either. He had a pretty good week. I started David Njoku for Cleveland last week. Ended up biting me in the ass a little bit. He didn't get as much touches as Delanie Walker did. So I'm going to decide, seeing the big role Delanie Walker played last week, I'm going to start him against Indianapolis this week. Marcus Mariota tended to favor him quite a bit more than I assumed. And I mean, even ESPN and NFL Network and Fox even projected that, hey, Njoku's going to outperform Delanie Walker. So I decided, do my research, I'm going to start Njoku, and then bit me in the ass. So this week, I'm playing Delanie Walker. So I get to play my another quarterback like I mentioned earlier in this video. So I got Josh Allen. I know it's a little biased because I'm a Bills fan, but if you think about it, he's actually a pretty good player for fantasy. He rushes. He was a leading rusher last year. He can throw the ball. He likes some deep passes, but now with his new offense, he's going to be hitting way more passes. We've already seen that. The problem that happened last week was the turnovers from him, so that bit me in the ass a little bit, and it gave me less the points that I could have gotten if he didn't, fumble and throw the interceptions. So, defense, gotta go Buffalo again. They're the toughest defense I think in the league right now. They're dangerous. They really didn't show anything week 1. We didn't have any turnovers, but I'm hoping if they listen to Smitty's shitty thoughts that they'd be more aggressive this week. And if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I'm gonna do that every Monday. So. Anyways, back to what I was saying, Buffalo's defense, I think they're very tough. I think they stop the run well. They're stopping the pass as well. So I'm going to go with them this week. I went with them last week. The Giants don't have many offensive weapons, so I'm going to be confident in that. My kicker, I got Justin Tucker. It's a good, safe one for Baltimore. They're playing Arizona, so he might get a lot of reps. And depending on how Lamar Jackson does again, he might be able to set, these 3-point field goals up or touchdowns, even getting extra points, so what have you not. So on my bench, I got Melvin Gordon. I mean, he doesn't have a contract. I sat Njoku like I went over. I also sat Emmanuel Sanders this week. I put Cole Beasley in his spot for my low-ranked wide receiver. I got another defense. I wanted to kind of take away a defense that scores a lot of points, and I hate them, but they always find a way, to get turnovers or to make big stops or whatever. So I got New England's defense. It's a good, safe backup for when Buffalo has a bye and I can take the points away from another team. I also have on my bench Ted Ginn Jr. He's just a safe one if I need someone that got hurt or whatever. So I got Philip Lindsay sitting the bench. I also just picked up this week. I dropped Carlos Hyde and picked up this Royce Freeman from Denver. So him and Philip Lindsay have both got on the same team, so hopefully they'll be sharing a lot of snaps, and I'll have both them points right there. And then I have a Ryan Suckup as my kicker. He's on the IR right now, so I can have that extra little spot on my roster. That doesn't count for anything, but I picked him up because kickers in my league get probably more points than the tight ends and the defense, so I figured, I'm going to get another kicker because when Justin Tucker goes on a bye, I'm going to need that good, solid guy, and I don't want to drop Justin Tucker to pick up another kicker because someone's just going to steal him. So I got another one because I'm pretty heavy on receivers. I actually, if you heard me earlier, I have Thielen on my team. I actually made a big traded away him and Devontae Parker, who I drafted before the Week 1 game because I needed a running back because Melvin Gordon didn't get his contract, and I didn't know how big of a role LaShawn McCoy would be playing. So I ended up trading Thielen, Devontae Parker, and I picked up Cooper Kupp and Philip Lindsay. So I thought that was a fair trade. It equaled out. I mean, Thielen does get a lot of touches, but I also am in desperate need of a running back, so I made that trade. I got LaShawn McCoy I picked up, so I also had Carlos Hyde on my roster, but I decided to drop him, pick up this Freeman. When another guy tried picking up, I think he picked up Case Keenum and had to drop this Freeman guy. So I picked him up. Hopefully, it benefits me in the future. But that's where I stand for my Week 2 fantasy. I hope you found this a little interesting, maybe a little helpful. If you'd like us to, answer some of your questions about your fantasy team or give us your advice on what you would do, are we making the wrong decisions here? Or you simply want to know why we made a decision, want us to elaborate more, we'll do that. So drop a comment, share this video, subscribe, like it, do whatever you got to do. So hit us up. I mean, we're trying to make this thing big, like I said in almost every video. But I hope you had a good day today. Friday 13th. It's Friday, so the weekend's coming. So hopefully you're getting ready for some football. It's going to be a good weekend for it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good rest of the evening.